Live now. We should be live.
All right. Let me get my computer and
Oh, turn everything down.
right. Don't have anything. Oh God, I got to turn my phone down because we all know what happens.
Yes,
Is it on?
we are live. Yes.
Oh, that's weird. Mine isn't coming. Mine isn't.
Is it
Oh,
hot, Jamie?
I'm in the wrong because I'm in the wrong company.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
I was in Animal Reiki Source, not Animal Bonds. So there we go. All right. Any whoosies.
Now we're together.
Now we're all together. Oh gosh, I'm tired today. All right.
It's that afternoon slump, right?
Well, I was up till late last night working on my project. I was up till midnight, which I never do. I'm always in bed by 10. And last night, and then I had to be up by 5:30. So I'm just dragging. So I got like 5 hours sleep. So dragging today. No, it's not good. I drink coffee and usually I can only have like literally of pure coffee, like 2 tablespoons before I just get like, and I drank like this much coffee.
Just to wake up.
You just had like a half a cup, but I didn't even phase me. So that was bad because I was like, okay, then I'm really tired. So any whoosies, what are we going to talk about, Jim?
Well, what are we talking about today? Same thing we talked about this morning.
Oh God.
Monkey mind, monkey mind.
I totally forgot the topic. I know our points. I totally forgot our topic. I do this so much.
That's all right. And you know, we don't want monkeys to get a bad rap. So let's start off saying that because monkey mind can be beneficial when you need to do a lot of different things, multitask. So let's not give monkeys too bad of a rap. But we also need to be able to quiet our mind in meditation, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, and you know, what we find is that a lot of times we're trying to meditate, we keep getting thoughts, and that's referred to as monkey mind because monkeys move around a lot. That's the only reason they call it that. And today, I'm going to give you 3 ways to combat that monkey mind when you are meditating or needing just to be quiet and peaceful.
That's right.
And let's start. Should we start with the exercise, Leah?
Yeah, well, let's first tell them. So the 3 things we're going to go over that we have found, both Jamie and I, that work for us to cure our monkey minds is sound, mantras, and breath. And so we're going to go over each one of those and how you can all use those to help calm that monkey mind. But yeah, let's do this really fun exercise because it's really telling about your mind.
It is. So if you take this opportunity to get paper and pen.
Oh, Darlene's got her paper and pen. Okay.
Good.
Okay, let me get my paper here.
What you're going to do for 1 minute, you are just going to breathe in really deeply down to the belly. You're going to exhale out. And while you're doing this, you're releasing stress. But while you're doing it, you want to just focus, just try to quiet your mind. And at the same time, you have your pen, you have your paper, and you're drawing a line just straight across. And when a thought comes, just do a line up, kind of like a heartbeat, and then continue to draw your line. And then when another thought comes, draw that line again. And after a minute, we're going to take a look at it and see how often thoughts came into our mind. Okay. So sit with your spine straight or just be comfortable.
And I'll put the timer on.
Okay. You're going to do the timer. Good.
Yep. You just tell me when.
Okay. Pins down. A deep breath in. And time starts now.
Ah. Okay. I was
So put
good.
up.
I was good until it got started to get towards time. And then I was like, because I kept thinking of the time.
Right, you kept thinking of the time. How did you do? Darlene?
Oh, good. That's
Good.
good.
So I have some from this morning, so I'm going to cover those up. So here's mine.
Oh, yeah. Yours was towards the end too. Isn't that so funny?
Uh-huh.
Because you're anticipating the end. So
Yeah.
your mind starts to, which is why it's really good just to set a timer and let go when you're going to
Yes.
meditate. You just don't worry about the time.
And then you don't have to worry about it at all.
Because a minute you're going to worry about it because you think, okay.
Yes.
But now I'm all tired after that. And I was like, oh,
Because
yeah.
we're both thinking, oh, we got to pay attention and we got to know when the minute's up.
So funny.
I know.
But what I love about that exercise is that no matter how practiced you are, it takes a lot of effort to calm your mind. It takes a lot of effort, especially with all our busy days. Like, we're married to our phones. We have constantly are getting barraged by everything, media and social media and, our families and friends and work. I mean, it's just a constant barrage. So of course your mind's going to be, and it does take a lot of effort, but that's why we have these great tools.
Yes. And that's what we're going to share today are some tools that you can use to help quiet the mind. So you can really get the full benefit of your meditation experience. And, our minds, they do this. This is what they're prone to do. They think, they constantly have ideas coming at you. And it's up to us to just practice, use the tools, because the more we do it, the easier it is to let go of the thoughts, is what I'm going to say, because I don't think we ever totally just go blank and not think of thoughts. But I do think that we get to a point where the thoughts come, we may notice them, but we don't get attached to them. We just let them float by.
I think for me, people would always say that, and you're just let your thoughts. I'm all, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Let your thoughts just float by. I'm like, I don't even get that. I don't understand that. So for me, it's just, it's always been, and I'm better and better and better at it because it's a muscle. You have to work it. And so for me, when I first started off, if I could just sit for a minute without having like thoughts that would jar me awake or jar me away from my meditation. So I just kept focusing. And what happens with me, it's not even like thoughts get in. It's more like maybe I start to get drawn into a place. Like, it's not like you said, it's not like there's no thoughts. Like sometimes I'll feel like, oh, I feel like I'm going in a cave, or you know what I mean? There'll be thoughts like that. But then sometimes in that space, which I really love, is because we've quieted our minds, now a solution or, an idea can come to us. So now in that space, it's okay to have that thought come in, and now you have a solution or you have an idea or whatever that is. And I think that's really what meditation brings for us. But the whole point is to have peace, at least for me. Mm-hmm. The point is to have peace. The point is to bring peace. When we're working with animals, that's 100% the point, is to bring peace. So it's not so much like, oh, I can never have another thought, like, like you were saying.
Right.
But it's like, what are you going to do with that thought? And I just crack up when people go, just let your thoughts float by. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I literally do not know what that means. Like in my head, I'm watching these clouds and I'm like, I don't even, now my thought is going, why are the cloud, what? I don't understand. Are my thoughts up there?
Oh, that's funny. Yes. And you're not the only person like that. Lots of people say that. And so I think it's important that we find what works for us.
Absolutely.
Everybody's a little different, and you just find what works for you. But I love how you brought up that a lot of times in meditation is where our answers come, or we're creative. It's like we're creative, we're manifesting, and all these ideas can actually come to us when we quiet out all the other noise.
Well, if you think about it, you're really tapping into your higher self. when you can quite like this, all this noise that's in your head and all this, pain and all these things that we go through, that is a lower energy. So when we're meditating, we're actually tapping into that inner knowingness, tapping into our intuition, tapping into our wisdom. So it makes complete sense that when we quiet all that other just background noise, now we can actually hear what's truly important. And then of course with animals, they're up here spiritually and intuitively and everything else, energetically. And so when we start to meditate, we start to kind of come up to where they are. And that's why this meditative practice works so well with animals, is because when they're out of balance, just simple meditation helps bring them back into balance.
Right. And let's welcome Joan. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm sorry I didn't have the password for the meeting and I was going through all my emails and
I didn't think we had one.
I didn't
yeah,
either.
it's 606-109.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Oh,
so
the
sorry.
ID.
We need to.
It's the ID, yeah.
Yeah. So I just was looking through all my old emails and I'm like, I
I'm
know
so
it's
sorry,
here
Joan.
somewhere. No.
Well, glad you could join us. Glad you figured it out. We're no help.
Oh, no, we're not.
Oh, so it's good to be here.
Yes.
Thanks.
So today we're talking about monkey mind, and we want to give 3 tips, tools that you can use to help quiet that monkey mind. And
That
get more
happens
from
to
your
me a lot.
meditation. Does
It
it?
happens. Yeah. I'm blessed to be able to go up to an animal sanctuary in Sonoma every week. And
Yeah, that's right.
it's the best. And I find sometimes that when I get there and I have like a little folding chair that I bring and I sit, and I mostly just sit outside their pastures and their areas, because unless I'm with someone from the sanctuary who says, come on, we'll go in and you can sit right there. I just find that it's better because I don't disturb anything that they are doing.
Right.
And mostly with the turkeys and the chickens, some of the turkeys up there have been through really awful things. And, when I come in there, it's like, if I come into their space, I mean, a lot of them do a lot of fence, back and forthing.
Yeah.
And that, I let them do that, not let them. I just don't invade their space. They've got their space, they do their thing. And then once I quiet myself down, close my eyes, start my meditation, whatever that might be. And most of the time, I do, I just do the 5 precepts, because I find that because I don't know what's going on with them. I have no knowledge of how their week or their day or their whatever has been. So they might have had a disturbance. They might have had something that, it happened to them that my not knowing about it. I'm just there to kind of like, I feel like, just level the playing field and let it just be based on the precepts, which, help me. They help me so much to just, take the big pink eraser in my brain and get rid of anything that I came with, or that I, think that they need, or that whatever, that it just keeps it very generic for me and for hopefully for them. And I have this they have this group that's called the Misfit Crew, and it's a couple of goats and a turkey ombre. So it's SB, Zipper, ombre, and now Gil is a chicken. And they're in this thing, and it's like they figured out how to get along with one another. And so when I sat on the other side of the fence and was just kind of closing my eyes and just going into the precepts, and Gil sat down, and this is right in the corner. He sat down, ombre, who is normally like a back and forther, because he doesn't really like anybody. And the staff will tell me that he really doesn't like anybody. He actually sat down. As much as he sits, because he doesn't really, do the nesting sit, he just kind of, but he sat and he didn't do a thing. And I was so, I just find so much gratitude in just that. I have no idea how the meditation works for them, but if they're calm and they're accepting, which what appears to be accepting of it,
Right.
you know what? That's made it for me. And it's not about me, it's about them.
Mhm.
But I just can only hope and pray that what I'm bringing is of some sort of comfort for them. And so therefore it's just, it's beautiful.
Absolutely, it is, because, you know, when animals are stressed, they show signs of stress. And when animals are calm, they show signs of being calm. And they're so, like, you know, what you see is what you get. They're not like people, where people are like, no, everything's fine, and it's not. So, you know, I think that that's really beautiful, Joan, that you got that experience, because that's huge, especially, and you hear that so much with our method, you know, animals who are completely shut down or don't like humans, or run humans off, when we come and sit with them in that meditative space, they love it, because animals are energetic beings and we're energetic beings, but we think our energy is like this. And the reality is our energy is out to here. What is it, Jamie? 99.99999% energy is our body, and
Yeah.
0.000005 or 1% matter. But because we have billions of cells, right, we're solid, but we're really not. Our energy field is huge. So for most of these animals, people are coming in with this huge, it's like wearing a big ball, like you're the bubble boy, and you're coming in and just like, blah, blah. But then, you know, if you come in and you're like the sun, now you're like complete peace. That's a whole different energy.
Mhm.
And then they show you how much they love it by that acceptance, right? I mean, Jamie, you have lots of experience with the farm animals, because that's
Yes.
jam.
Yeah, absolutely. I spend a lot of time with the farm animals, and you know, a lot of them come from situations where they have reasons not to trust people, not to like people. But I see it time and time again when you go in and you just have an open heart, you're peaceful, you're quiet, they just respond and they come up to you, they're open to it. It's just incredible to watch them go from, you know, being shut down and they've been abused and they're unsure, to when they just open up and they know they're safe. They know that they're in the presence of people who love them. They can feel that energy, and they just shift. They become, you see who they really are.
And imagine what it does to restore their confidence in people, to know that there is a person that can bring their energy into balance, right? So you come in, Joan, and you're this beautiful energy, and, you know, they're not used to that, but they realize, oh, you know, this human, actually, this is really nice. And it kind of helps heal that with humans, is what I feel like.
Yeah, I think it does too. And I think they appreciate it, you know,
Mhm.
and they show you. I mean, they recognize immediately someone who comes in and is aware and, you know, can calm their energy
Mhm.
and sit in a peaceful meditative state. They know right away. And they like to come up and acknowledge that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of, I mean, I know I sound really crazy, but sometimes and you know, you may like frown on this, but sometimes I kind of imitate their sounds. Like I try to do the
But I
turkey,
think
the
totally
you
fine.
know, he has, they, you know, they have this thing. It's, and I can, you know, it's a up, down, and then there's another, you know, part of it, and it's just a repetitive thing that they do. I'm sure you know it. And you know, it's kind of like, that's kind of like my way to say hello. And you know, would you
Well,
like some
it's
Reiki today?
mirroring. It's mirroring, and animals, they function with a lot of mirroring, right? So with horses, you know, if one steps back, the other step back. If they come forward, they'll come forward. You know, there's always mirroring, and even just like sounds. You know, I do that with the crows too. I try to make they have this really cool kind of like sound, and I try to do it with them, and they love it. And so I think that, you know, you're trying to meet them where they are, and I think again that's why we get such amazing responses. But we should start talking about, we only did one little exercise, We should
Yes.
talk about the 3 ways that we can combat monkey mind, which is breath, sound, and mantra. So go
Let's-
ahead, Jamie, with the
Let's
first one,
start
breath.
with breath, because that is
And
one,
hey, Mel.
breath is one of the easiest ones to do, because we always have to breathe. And I think it's really, really powerful. And with breath, you know, it's about bringing in, it slows our minds when we breathe deeply. Most of the time, we're breathing up here when we go throughout the day. We're breathing very shallow, we're staying alive, but we're not really focusing on our breath, taking a deep breath, pulling it all the way down our belly, and then, you know, just releasing any tension or stress, you know, setting that as our intention. We're just breathing most of the time. But when we actually do those slow, deep breathings, what happens is our mind slows down. It just slows down, and our brain relaxes. And then that allows our body to relax as well and decrease all those stress hormones that pump through us. So it really does affect our whole body, our brain and our body. And it's simply breath.
Absolutely.
And I think we should do the 1 minute breathing?
Yeah, we should, because, you know, and it's all about intention. So our intention is that we're going to slow our breath, slow our mind, and we're going to relax. So, you know, keep that intention with you as we do this 1 minute
Yes.
meditation.
And so, can you set our little
Yeah.
timer? Okay,
Yep.
Should we
Yeah.
mute ourselves?
Yeah, sure.
sure.
I'll
That
too.
would be great. And you just want to sit with your spine straight if possible, and just take a deep breath in. Really pull that breath all the way down to your belly. And then on the exhale, visualize that you're breathing out any stress or worries or pain. And just continue to breathe like that, pulling it into the belly and releasing any stress. I'm going to be quiet now while we do this.
And just slowly bring yourselves back. And that's a minute. So crazy.
Isn't it? 1 minute is all it takes to get this benefit.
All you need. And you already feel in your body, you're like, okay. You know, and you can do this throughout your day and it builds on itself. It's not just like, oh, I'm starting over every time I do it. You're actually building on that. You're flexing that muscle too. And I love that 1 minute breath. We learned that in meditation school, and
Yes.
Jamie and I. And
Yes.
it's just an amazing, helpful meditation, because no matter how stressed you are, soon as you slow your breath, your mind slows, because, you know, when we're up here in busy beta, you're like, you can't think. I mean, it's scientifically proven you can't think of solutions. So you've got to bring yourself down to either beta or even theta, so that you can then like go. And it's like what we were saying, when you quiet your mind, then solutions come forward. And it's all scientifically proven. We're not like woo-woo crazies. This is all scientifically proven.
Absolutely. And, you know, they've done lots of research on it, and they can tell, you know, our hormones change. Everything changes. Heart rate goes slower. Blood pressure goes down. It's just incredible what happens when we slow our mind and our body through our breath.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And, you know, we all have to breathe. So why not make it purposeful breathing? You know, every now and then when earlier this morning, we had someone on who said that they did this when they remembered, or I don't know if it was the breathing or it was another tool, but they said, what I have trouble with is remembering to do it. And so there are some hacks that you can do to remind yourself, take Post-it notes, put them up around your house or your cubicle, have it set as on your phone. It can be a reminder. It can be, the screensaver or whatever on your computer. So there's things you can do to remind yourself to go ahead and do this breathing until it becomes a habit.
I think all the things we're going to share today, this is a good thing to remember,
Yes.
is to write it down. So Darlene, you were going to say something.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
cut
no.
you.
No.
We're just gonna say that I find that have been using, the breath quite a bit just to, again, calm down. If something comes up that I get upset about, instead of reacting, blowing up and making it a bigger mess than it really needs to be, it's like I just stop. I walk away, whatever the situation is, just go, even just a minute or two, and just kind of like, okay, kind of regroup, and then I have a clearer head as far as what my response is going to be, instead of just blowing up. So it's really helpful.
Absolutely.
Even funny, it's like I wrote with a dry erase on my bathroom mirror, it says breathe. So it's kind of like my sanctuary. It's like I go in there just to calm down. So it's like that's my reminder there, just to breathe. So
Absolutely. I love that. I
That's-
love that. Thank you for sharing that.
So breath is one of the tools that we can use to quiet our mind. But another one are the mantras. And, those of us who've had the level 2, we have the Reiki mantras, but even for people who haven't studied Reiki, there are mantras that you can use that help quiet your mind. There's Om. I mean, that one, a lot of people know. That's a very powerful one. Ah is a powerful mantra. But we're talking earlier today, and there's another one, right, Leah?
Mm-hmm. All is well.
The all is well.
I didn't know where you were going with that, because we did the Om with the sound. I was like,
Oh, what am I supposed to do?
going with this.
Yeah.
Are we doing mantra or are we doing sound? What are we doing?
Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, I did
Yes, the
kinda-
mantra,
I
all
did
is
kinda
well.
go into that, didn't I?
Yeah, and the mantra that we do is all is well. Or there's a really wonderful one that one of my students shared in the Animal Reiki for Reiki practitioners, which is, and I think it's common, isn't it, Jamie? I think that Yvonne or somebody was saying that it's very common. It's you are wait, I wrote it down.
Yeah. You're safe, you're loved, all is well.
As well, yes, you're safe, you're loved, all is well. And that's a great one around animals. You're
Yep.
safe, you're loved, all is well. Because especially, you can't tell shelter animals are going to get adopted. You can't tell rescue animals that they're in their forever home, but you can say you're safe, you're loved, and all is well, because all of that is true.
Mhm.
Of course we can't make promises, but yeah.
I
Right.
use that one very, very often with my mom's dog.
Oh, okay.
That I use very often with her because she was so anxious, and with other people coming into, my mom's house and everything else, where that was her, she was overprotective there. That's what I kept saying over and over. And it's like, that's one of the big things that helped her transform. Just those three little sentences, things.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier, how, it seems so simple, all is well, or you are loved, you are safe, all is well. But yet there is so much power in that statement, and so much power in the energy of it, because again, we're energetic beings. Even though we seem very solid, we're all very energetic beings. So the energy that gets changed from that all is well, when you go from stressed to peace, there's a huge shift in your energy. And so even if it's rote memorization at first, I'm really stressed out, but all is well, all is well, all is well, you can still start to feel your body go into a more peaceful state. And now this feels more natural than this over time. So you could be really stressed. You could be a stressed out person. But if you start incorporating all is well, all is well, all is well every morning, every night, we always recommend 3 times in the morning, 3 times at night, then you can start seeing that peace becomes more natural. Now, all of a sudden, stress doesn't feel natural. Whereas right now, stress might feel completely natural. In fact, a lot of people who are stressed, they like to keep stressed because it helps them feel normal, because that chaos is normal.
Yeah.
When you feel peace, it feels not normal.
Right, uncomfortable for them.
Right. Mhm.
And so it takes, sometimes they will just do things to create the chaos or the stress because that's what feels comfortable to them. That's what they know. Where, so you have to start slow sometimes with the all is well and, you know, really focus. And it's about consistency, right, Leah? I mean, doing this every day. Practice, set aside some time to practice the all is well. And eventually that will just become something that you can go to, and it's going to immediately put you into that feeling.
A peaceful state. Absolutely, because it's consistency that creates that that almost Pavlov's response, right? So if
Yeah.
you're consistently creating that peace, even if it's only a minute in the morning, a minute at night, but you did it for like a month, let's say, and then in the middle of the day, if you're stressed, you say, okay, all is well. And all of a sudden, boom, your body feels that. And that kind of leads us into our next one, which is sound, which
Yes.
that too is like that.
Yes, and we were talking earlier, sound is so powerful. So think about music. And there may be songs that, you know, have a special meaning to you, or maybe in your childhood, or maybe when you were married, or whatever, some important day. And you hear that music, that song, and it immediately transports you back to those feelings, right? That when you were a child and you were happy, or whatever it was. Music can be very, very powerful. Sound can be very, very powerful.
Yes.
And I think we don't think about that enough. You know, I told earlier this morning, there's a client of mine, he's a nosework dog, and I use the same music with him all the time. Whenever I offer him a session, whenever we're meditating together, and his mom got that music. So when they go to trial and he's resting in the truck in between, you know, his turn to go, she plays that music and he just immediately goes into that space. Or if she's on vacation, you know, she can put that music on, he immediately goes and lays down and just goes into that space. And we say, oh, he's doing Reiki.
I know my dogs are the same way, because I always play music, because when I was very first starting out, my mind just would not slow down. But if I meditated with music playing, I could like just kind of concentrate on that music, and that would help me get into a space. And then pretty soon over time, it was just you turn on the music and then boom, you feel it. And so for me, I was doing it. And then I noticed like my dogs, every time I would turn it on, it would just be off, you know, just come in, or they would come in from wherever they were and go, oh, it's that time. It's rest time, right? Because it must feel really good to have mommy just like not all, yeah, she's all peaceful. It's like, oh, the music, peace, it all goes together.
Oh, yes. And you know, another thing sound does is we can just feel it resonate in our body, which is the sound bowls, the chanting. That's what that's about, to feel the vibration of it. And that's what I was getting into a little early. So like the Om and the Ah, very powerful. Om has been called the language or the sound of the universe, you know. And in level 2, we have our mantras that we can chant and do the chanting. So chanting is really, really powerful as well to help quiet our mind.
Oh,
I
And
was
it
just
works
gonna, can
wonderful
I
with
add one little
animals.
thing?
yeah, yes, please.
What I walk dogs when I'm not doing anything else. And when I was getting to know one of the dogs that I was walking, I, you know, he seemed to be a little bit, you know, kind of like not so calm. And so I chanted the symbols, and it just quieted everything down. So like Ouae for Chokure, and Oatseone for Honsha Seishonen, and Aiuio for Daikumio, and Aeaki for Seiheki. And it, so then I just go through them, you know, in just a, and then I just hum them. I don't say the words, and it just seems to really quiet me down, and the animals.
Yep,
That's all I was gonna add.
absolutely.
Yes. Yes. And another fun thing to do is when you're chanting, to go ahead and chant like you know, at a regular level, and then to do it as a whisper. And then just see if you can feel the difference in the energy. I like to do that sometimes and see if how the difference and how it resonates with me.
I
Yeah.
sing I sing all the time, and that's just, it brings me into, I believe I was a jazz singer in a previous lifetime. You know, I'm really into like the jazzy sounds, and I just,
Oh, were you Billie Holiday?
I tell you, I have melodies in my head that I have no idea where they're coming from, and it's just, but I love it, and I just hum, and the humming is kind of like, you know, just like, it's not like chanting, but it is.
It is.
It comes from inside, and it's just, I can feel the vibration when I hum, and I do that all the time. I'll sing, I'll make up words and stuff like that, or I have words that just come from somewhere, but the humming is the vibration that just brings me into the calmness, you know, of things. And
I love that. Well, so you you'll be able to relate to this more. In America, we don't really, I think we used to, back years and years and years ago, used to have more like songs that people would sing, right? So like the Native Americans use a lot with music, whether a person's dying, whether a person's sick, whether they're celebrating, there's always music, right? Because music is healing. And in, like, I remember when Kathleen and I went to Evian, France for a conference, and on the last day, you know, we all ate lunch and dinner together, and there was, you know, like 150 people. And on the last day, they brought out an accordion and a guitar, and they were singing. You know, it was all French, but they were all singing, and they all knew the songs. And I was saying to Kathleen, that's so sad that in America there isn't really a song that we all, besides our national anthem, that we would all know, every generation, that we could all sing and have that. And they had mini songs. They did it for like an hour. Just, they would start playing and everybody start clapping, and then they start singing these songs. And I thought, wow, you know, it's something that we lack as a society in America that other countries have. And it is really healing. It's healing to have music. It's healing to have sound. And it helps you to let go of everything else when you get into that.
oh yeah, and I mean, especially in the European countries, I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much old history, and you know, this country is so new in comparison to every other country. I mean, like, to, you know, where it's the United States of America.
Well, absolutely. And I think that a
Yeah.
lot of people, when they came, they quit bringing their traditions because, right, you want to be Americanized. So you let go of a lot of your traditions, and you let go of the music, and you let go of everything. And so we just don't have that community that they do. But I love that you brought that up about, you know, just any type of music. It doesn't have to be meditation music.
Right.
It could be.
I really like binaural beats as well.
Oh, I do too. I do.
They're just amazing, to especially to shift into. I actually shifted into my sacred room when I meditate, and it was just amazing. I have all my animals that have passed that are actually there. The wild animals, not my pets. They're at the Rainbow Bridge. The ones that just didn't have anyone, they stay there with me, and it's just as great. It's this big room, and then I have a dock outside, and it's great, and it's like I'm in there, and it's amazing, and it's the theta frequencies that get me really, really into a space that it's literally shifting into a calmer state of mind and physical self too. It's great. Yeah.
Well, I think that Darlene mentioned a book here, This Is Your Brain on Music by Daniel Levitin. And I think it talks about that very same thing, how certain beats, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, Darlene.
No, it's a pretty neat book that he's a musician, art and science, studied, and then he turned neuroscientist because he just was enthralled on the connection between music and the brain, and just how, that people can connect better, especially like, in hospitals, you see like the musicians come into hospitals to help patients that are recovering from surgery, or stroke patients or anything like that. My piano teacher, that when I was taking piano lessons, she also played the harp, and she used to go to a couple of the local hospitals around town to play harp music for the patients. So it's just amazing the connection, how music really stimulates the brain.
I agree with that. I left work one day and I had this really old trance track in, and it was so good. And it literally, what I saw walking out of the building, and I was just going outside for a break, and I literally felt like I was walking through music because everything shifted.
Wow.
And it was, somebody told me, they're like, what if you shifted into a new timeline? Like, I literally had to stop so that I didn't get run over by, there was no cars coming. But they're like, what if you haven't stopped? What if you shifted into something new? But it was just literally, I was surrounded by music. I could see it in
Wow.
air. It was just such an amazing thing. And but it depends on the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Frequency is such a huge thing to, the lower the number, the higher the frequency is. I run at 144. That is my frequency, is 144.
Yeah, I don't know anything about frequencies. That's fascinating.
So it's really, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube for that if you want to look into that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, what's the ohm frequency when we say ohm? What is that frequency? Because that's the frequency
It's
of
a higher number.
Mm.
It's a higher number, so it's deeper. Like 144 is super, super high pitched.
Mm-hmm.
And like I hear it all day long.
Wow.
And I vibrate on that all day long.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember what ohm is, but I know it is the same vibration as creation, isn't it?
That's what I've heard, yes.
Yeah.
And that's ohm vibrates at the frequency of 432 hertz.
Yeah, so that's way higher than
found in things throughout nature. Om is the basic sound of the universe. Chanting it symbolically and physically tunes us into the sound and acknowledges our connection with everything in the world and the universe.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So ohm is a great one. And then like in Japanese, it's ah, or ah is also a seed syllable. So it's like a foundational chant. Ah is a lot of times at the beginning of different chants. So anything like that with sound, and I know you're right, Jamie, it's sound, and it's also called a mantra. So when you do om is a mantra, ah is a mantra.
Yes.
But earlier we talked about it as sound, so I got confused.
But if you listen to the description, it had everything to do with nature and grounding.
Right, exactly.
That's one to help you ground a lot, which is a good one that I should be using too.
Right? And then also awe is the same thing too. Exactly. We all need to be doing that because we get off, but again, that's a way you can calm your monkey mind. You can easily calm your monkey mind, like kind of like what you were saying, Mel. You went to a different place because of that music. You were able to let go of everything out here and go inwards and really just kind of take a different type of journey. And I love that.
60 Minutes did a special And it was showing how music can help people with Parkinson's.
Oh, wow.
And also Tony Bennett, it was his last concert, who he now has Alzheimer's, you know, he's suffering from that. But he would not, I mean, even be able to remember his wife or anyone. That's the condition he's in. And yet they put him on stage and he remembered every song. It's like he came back to life. He was engaging with the audience. And then the concert was over and he would come back and he would just be, you know, kind of like he wasn't there.
Wow.
And so, you know, just those connections that he had made with the music in his brain, you know, how healing is that? And if it can help Parkinson's.
Well, it's also really encouraging too to think that what we're creating right now for ourselves, that we're really building something up, right? That it is a habit, that it is an energy that we're going to be able to tap into, that when we get older, that maybe that's just like going to be so natural for us to be able to tap into that and go there and find peace, you know, because I know that a lot of times when you get older, like maybe you have to go to a home or something, a lot of elderly people, they don't have that peace. And wouldn't that be great if we can actually tap into that for ourselves?
Right. And, you know, just know and keep our brain and our mind healthy.
Right.
This is a great way to do that as well.
No, absolutely. I love
So,
that.
Another thing that came up that we didn't even think about this morning
Oh, yeah.
to help quiet our monkey minds was scent.
Yes.
And, you know, that was something that I didn't even think about, but I do know it's true that scent also has that power if you condition yourself with it in the right way, that it can take you back to those places and to that peaceful place. So like if you have essential oils or some kind of scent that you meditate with, somebody used incense, but if it was essential oils, say, and you always use that same one while you meditated, you could carry that around with you in the office or someplace. And when you're stressed or something happens, you could just, you know, open the bottle, take a whiff, and instantly get that peaceful feeling.
I think the trick is that you can't, like, so let's say, I think somebody mentioned neroli. So if you choose neroli as your, then you can't use it anywhere else. You have to be consistent and use that. So in my entrepreneur group, they just had like a big thing about, you know, how to keep your focus when you're working. And they talked about that, you know, about finding a scent. But you can't use like lemon and then be like, oh, I smell lemon, I should be working. You know, it's not going to work. So you have to pick something very distinct and you put it on your hand and you smell it. And then like, you know, you start working. And so pretty soon, every time you smell it, you're like, okay, I'm going to work. I'm going to have focus time, right? But same with the meditation, you smell that. And then, all right, I'm just going to let go and go.
Yeah. It's just little hacks to help us so that we continue and be consistent in our meditation, because that's really the key. It doesn't matter the length. The 1 minute, as we saw, worked wonderful, but it has to be done consistently. And I think that's where we get into trouble, because there's so many distractions out there.
So many. But that's why these tools are so important, because you can get through it. You can make it work for yourself if you have these little hacks and these little triggers, right? Because it is a trigger. I smell lemon, boom, I'm going to go into meditation. I hear a certain song, boom, I'm going to go into meditation, whatever that is.
Right. Yes, absolutely. You know, and, oh, okay, I got to post. Oh, I got a little reminder set on my phone. Yes, I need to do a 1 minute breathing, that type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we just need to do whatever it takes to remind us. I mean, I have to put reminders all over. Yes, I have things in my schedule, but it's like, oh, I better stick a note on the coffee pot because I can't forget I have a dentist appointment. So, you know, keep that fresh in your mind, and I have notes all over the house. So
it's true. It's true. You do, because you have to make it a habit, right? What you're doing, what you're working towards here is really making it something that you do every day, just like brushing your teeth, right? So you want to make it an ingrained habit. And the best way to do that is through doing something that's going to trigger you, music or scent or sound or your breath.
Mhm.
And for me, I think breath is the easiest way, but you know,
Yeah, I think it is for me too, the breath, because we have to breathe. So
we have to breathe.
we have to breathe. We might as well make it purposeful.
Absolutely.
So does anybody have anything? Mel, were you going to say something?
I got my pet first aid and CPR certification.
Oh, congratulations. Good on you.
Did it this weekend.
Well,
was,
fantastic. How long did it take you? If you don't
It
mind me
was-
asking.
It was from 9 to 3.
Okay, not too bad.
A long day with only 3 5-minute breaks.
Oh, no way. No,
Long-
that's
long day.
ridiculous.
It was great. The lady was amazing. She shared a lot of her personal stories. This is all she does. She's doing this because something happened to one of her animals and she could not. She blamed herself for her animal not being diagnosed early enough, and she just went into that, and she's been doing it for years and years. It's a small place, but she does it like 6-7 times a month, different places. And it's great. I sent her a really long email just telling her how much I appreciated the class and stuff like that, just because it was good. And I feel more confident now to help any animal.
Right.
Because it's not just CPR and rescue breaths and the Heimlich maneuver. It's first aid. It's recognizing certain things, and now I can show my mom just how to do just the basics for her dog and for so it's just and it's like
I
it's
love
great.
that.
I'm
love
really
that.
happy I had it done. I'm really happy I got that done, just because I bandaged up my cat. I bandaged his neck up, and he wasn't too happy. He was all weirded out by that because he had nothing wrong with him, and he just sat there looking at me like, "What is this?" But you got to practice, just like anything else. But it was a really good experience, and I'm glad I did it. So thanks for bringing that up. And
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I searched around and there was only one place, but I finally had it done. Yeah, so
That's
Excellent. Good for you.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yay.
I know when my boxer pit bull, he was like 4 months, and at our work we had a pet because we were allowed to bring dogs to work, and so we had one of the trained like medics came in and he taught us, and it was so funny because Titus, when he would get stressed, he would just go to sleep. So he literally laid there with his eyes closed to sleep as we put like stuff all over his head and put his little arm in like a tourniquet. And he just lay there and slept, just like, I'm going somewhere else. I'm just, you can do whatever you want. It was the funniest thing. I need to try to find those photos.
yeah, she said during the pandemic when she did it online, and she loved it because people would use their own animals, to do it. So, and it was more of a connection that they had. We got stuffed animals, so, but that was perfectly fine. But it was a good thing for sure.
Nice.
Great. That's great. All right. Well, we are about 2 minutes till the top of the hour. Shall we close with the 1 minute meditation? Maybe make it a couple minutes?
Yeah, let's do like we did this morning and make it a couple of minutes, because that was
Yeah.
really nice. And it's just amazing how 2 minutes just seems life-changing. It's so funny.
Oh. All right. So
Okay.
let's get comfortable.
Do you want to time it? Do you want me to?
I can time it.
Okay, great.
All right. And close your eyes. And again, just take a deep breath and pull it all the way down to your belly. And then as you exhale, release any stress and tension. And just continue to breathe like that, breathing in deeply and then releasing for the next 2 minutes. Just go ahead, come back.
So crazy. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
So crazy. Yet it feels so deep. I don't know. Maybe I just need it.
But I agree, it does. You just, in 2 minutes, you can go. And maybe it's because we are, have practiced meditation for a while and it's easier for us. But I think that with consistency, everyone can do this with 1 or 2 minutes.
And it builds on itself,
Yes.
Sorry.
What
Yeah.
now?
It's really hard to rest instead of sleep. Like it's easy to take a nap and to train yourself to rest.
Yes.
But resting is so much more, and it fills you with so much more energy than sleeping. Because after you take a nap, you're just zonked out and you don't want to do anything anymore. When you learn how to rest, which is also about breathing meaningfully. But when you start to learn how to rest, you're more refreshed. Half an hour of resting is so much better than a 3-hour nap.
You need to start going to some corporations and sharing that with them, because in my entrepreneur group, that is where I'm in this kind of upper level mastermind. And that's the biggest thing, all of these high CEOs and stuff, they don't rest. I mean, they try to get rest and recovery in, but they don't even know how to do it.
Oh, yeah. It took a while to learn to teach myself not to fall asleep, but to stay present and relax and rest.
Well, that's when you're getting down to what delta, is that delta, the delta phase? It's not alpha.
I have no idea, to be
I think
honest.
because it's your beta, your high beta is when you can't.
Right.
Beta is your everyday, and then theta, and then I think it's either delta and then alpha. So I think delta is
so
that
much more
deep breath.
refreshing. Yeah, it's so refreshing. I'll lay down, but I'm up and I'm ready to go.
I love that.
I take a 2-hour nap and I want to go back to bed.
That's me. I love that. Just rest. Just really rest your mind. And thank you, Mel. And thank you, everyone. Joan, thanks so much for coming. We loved having you. And Darlene, thank you so much. Darlene is our biggest consistent person, and we love that.
Yes.
You can always count on Darlene so that we aren't talking to ourselves. I love that. And Darlene always brings her little reptiles, and we'll get to see a reptile. So that's
Yes, and that's always fun.
Love those reptiles. They don't get enough love.
That's right, they don't. All right.
Good night.
Everyone have a great
you.
week.
Good night, everybody.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.